and welcome to a brand new episode of Autocar Professional Dialogues. Today we have with us Mr. Vikram Pawah, the President and MD of BMW Group India. Vikram, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
I want to start off with, wanting to understand from you how has been the response for the luxury car market in India. Is there a trigger after COVID? We're seeing sort of, exponential growth in the overall sales of products in this category. So what are the key drivers and what's the response to this segment now?
Yeah, I think what we have seen is after COVID, 2020 was maybe the watershed year for COVID, let's put it that way. Since then, there's been a steady and a good recovery that has happened, okay, in the market. What we have seen, especially for us, we have seen a very solid growth over 2021, and in 2022, we're going to replicate that growth, and we're going to finish it with as a best year ever in our history. And I think that is looking like something that is sustainable as well.
Okay.
Very clearly, what we could see is that people are coming back with a very kind of a entrepreneurial spirit of saying that, okay, I want to do something that I always wanted to. I always wanted to have a good car, and I want to buy that now because COVID is also telling me that I can't wait for things. I have to really start living my life. And also, COVID was also a pause for people. Mm-hmm. Spending time with their families, spending time what they love doing, going on driving holidays. Mm-hmm. You could not go on air flights and international holidays anymore. So that has become more like a norm now. So there is a shift that is happening in terms of let me live my life, let me enjoy. We always had the money. In India, we always had the money. I think money was never a problem as such, because especially our customer group love spending on the latest and the greatest of the world. And I think now that the kind of products we are launching, especially since 2021, we've been launching it consistently. In last year, in 2022, this year, we launched around 26 products. Mm-hmm. And we've seen that every product bring in new set of customers. We brought products into the country which was specific for India as well, like the 3 Grand Limousine. And that has seen a lot of people coming into the fold, which have never seen before. So this is all what is happening. The expansion of the market for us is happening. I can't say about my competition, but I can see a lot of new customers every day into our fold.
And that shift in the customer psyche, is that also prompting you to sort of change your strategy, also introduce new categories of vehicles in the market?
Of course. We're always looking at what are the trends of the customers in a country. And I think what we started looking at is in India, people prefer value products. So I won't say we are a cost-conscious society. I mean, of course, we will love being cost-conscious, but it's really good that India is actually a value-conscious society. If we see value in it, we'll pay for it.
Right.
Okay. If we don't see value in it, no matter how cheap you make it, we will not pay for it.
Right.
So I think it's not a price point issue. It's more about are you able to deliver value. And I always give this example, of the customers that are coming to us now and telling me about this 3 Grand Limousine that we created for India. Right. It is a special product, only country to launch it as a right-hand drive version. Mm-hmm. So we made it specifically for India. And what we can see is, people who want to be drivers at heart, love driving, love the BMW brand, used to feel that, okay, I'm compromising my family because, they didn't have space at the back. Now, it's a perfect combination. And I have these great stories of customers from Lucknow, customers from Bangalore, various places where they come back and tell me, this is exactly what I've been waiting for.
Right.
I never bought a premium product earlier. I could afford it any day, but I never bought it because I was feeling that I'm being too selfish.
Right.
And I think now that value is being provided, you can see people are coming through and buying that directly, actually. So they're not stepping through as people imagine that they will buy an X1 and then a bigger product, but they're just directly stepping into a 3 Grand Limousine, actually.
Right. So would you want to then sort of also lower the entry point into the BMW portfolio? Because, like you're mentioning, people are straight away going to the 3 Series. But is there scope for lowering?
No, we are a premium manufacturer. We intend to be a premium manufacturer.
Okay.
And when you say you want to be a premium manufacturer, there is a price point attached to a premiumness as well, because you can choose either to be a volume seller or an aspiration seller. Mm-hmm. And I think we are a premium seller, so we believe in aspiration selling, not just volume selling, because people should feel that when they're owning this brand, they've arrived in life. If it is a common thing that anybody can own, then probably there is no premiumness to it. So we intend to remain premium.
And is the 3 Series the best seller in the BMW portfolio?
3 Series Grand Limousine is one of the best sellers. It's not the only best seller, but we have equivalently, the X1, which is a very useful car for the Indian infrastructure, performs very well as well. And also the 6 Gran Turismo, which is also a kind of a longer wheelbase version of a 5 Series, is also very, very good seller as well.
Right. You mentioned about infrastructure, so you're still offering diesels in your offerings in the market. So how bullish are you on diesels going forward?
I think we see demand for all three drivetrains, right? Be it petrol, diesel, and electric evolving, right? So because it depending on regions where you sell. We are not just a company that sells in a few metro cities. If I look at my sales, 50% of my sale comes from top 10 cities. The next 50% come from the next 100 cities.
Okay.
Right now, we all know India is a diverse country, right? A behavior in a top 10 city is not going to be the same as a behavior in the next 10 or even the next 50 or the next 100 cities, right? It'll be very different because the needs are different, infrastructure requirements are different. Metros will have charging infrastructure, rural may not. Okay, there may be diesel easily available in rural segment because of the agricultural equipment that is being used. So it's the more preferred fuel. So we are able to provide this power of choice to our customers that, whatever you want to choose, you can choose between a petrol, a diesel, or electric vehicle. And that's why, if you look at it last year when we announced in December, we said that we will be at the forefront of electrification. And we still are, because I think we have the widest range in the industry of electric cars that we are offering. And we intend to even strengthen that next year with the launch of more electric products, actually.
Right. And what's the response been like to these electric vehicles?
Phenomenal. So, I was surprised as well, although I was quite bullish about electric products. I thought, India is ready for electric because we are, like I said, very value conscious society, and clearly electric product offers you a great value.
Right.
Ease of running, no noise, no pollution, cost of running is low.
Right.
Charging, I can do it at my home, especially for our customers. There is a very easy thing. We provide a wall box charger along with the electric product, so it's like charging your phone overnight.
Right.
Our usage is not that high. We don't travel 200, 300 kilometers in a day, right? We're traveling 40 kilometers, 45 kilometers in a day. So literally, if you charge every 2 or 3 days, you're fine.
Right.
It's a really good value proposition, and that's why we see, the demand for iX, which is a SAV. We still have a lot of waiting for it. i4, which is a sedan, is actually sold out till end of next year.
Okay.
Right, and the mini hatch, which is also the electric we have, is also every time we release a lot, it gets sold out in minutes. Actually,
right.
Really good demand. I expect that to continue. I expect probably 10% of our sales at least to be electric next year.
Okay.
That's what I expect it to be.
Right. And diesel, eventually you'll see it tapering off.
I think the shift happens depending on customer preferences, like I said, based on usage, and we shift our production based on what customers are asking for.
Right. Right. And in the electric portfolio, so are you also going to sort of enhance the infrastructure of these chargers?
Of course, we have. So we started last year itself in December. We said we've set up almost 56 charging stations in our dealerships, which are accessible to all electric vehicles. So we are being all inclusive. Our strategy is that we as a brand need to be at the forefront of electrification, and we should not limit electrification infrastructure to only our customers, but we should allow the entire society to move towards electrification. So if you go to any dealership of BMW, they have really fast chargers. They have 50 kilowatts, like in the main city, 50 kilowatt fast chargers, which are accessible to general public.
Right.
We put it in a place where a normal customer can come in and still charge, irrespective of whether the BMW or not.
Right.
Of course, a BMW customer gets preference because there's a charger inside as well, which is a fast charger for them as well. So a great combination: a private charging network for your home or your office. That's one. A charging network through a dealer network is the second stage of our infrastructure setting, which will continue to expand. We'll put even more and more as we sell more cars. And of course, we are looking at even collaboration with other charging infrastructure providers, whether we can contribute towards that as well.
And with that, are you looking at ultra fast chargers as well, maybe 120, 140?
Well, of course, depending on the load availability. So load restrictions is sometimes an issue in various places. But yeah, as long as the load availability is there, of course, we go for 100 kilowatts and move forward as we go along. Yeah.
Sure. Vikram, you mentioned that the i4 is sold out until the end of next year. So in terms of the overall challenges right now in the supply chain as well as logistics, so how are things panning out, and what's the current situation?
I think it's been like the challenge is becoming a norm actually now, because if you look back in 2020, it started with COVID, right? That was the challenge of lockdowns in various countries and impact on the supply chain. Then it started with the semiconductors in 2021. 2022 saw the geopolitical issues creating another challenge, and now we've got end of 2022 the logistical challenges that are happening across the world.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's becoming the norm, and it's quite a dynamic situation. We are always on top of it, so we review that on a daily, weekly basis. So we adapt to our production, because 98% of what we sell in India is actually locally produced.
Right.
So we adapt to our production systems very quickly. We're quite adaptive. We're quite responsive to that. Yes, of course, we need to keep customers informed as well of any change in schedules. So at the moment, none of these issues had made us revise our plans downwards.
Okay.
So we've been able to maintain only, rather we've been able to actually enhance our plans further by good management. The only challenge we face is that sometimes the schedules change and some inconvenience is caused to the customer. So my apologies to customers on my behalf very clearly that sometimes we commit a date, but then we have to reschedule it because of these challenges that are happening in the world. And I respect them that I hope they can understand this situation.
Right. Are you also looking at expansion of your network in the country?
Of course, we continue doing that. During COVID, we put a pause to it, of course, given the situation. So currently we have 80 touch points. We have 4 or 5 touch points that are coming through already, which are under the pipeline.
Okay.
And we'll go to the next phase of expansion as we as we expand our sales. We will be doing that.
Right. Yeah. And how has the year been? Like you mentioned that it's going to be the best ever year for BMW in India. So what sort of growth are you looking at? And
so you have to wait for the year to finish because normally we declare the numbers after the end of the year, but I can give you a sneak peek of it. So end of November in our car segment, we have grown by 40%.
Okay.
Okay. In our motorcycle segment, we already grown by 46%.
Okay.
Also, as we sit right now, we've actually crossed our best ever year already.
Okay.
So we still got 2.5 weeks to go. So let's see how it finishes up.
Right. Yeah. Last question, Vikram. So you mentioned that there is possibility of this growth sort of continuing in the future. Yeah. So are we looking at some headwinds also? There's the fear of recession globally. So are there those challenges?
Of course, these challenges always remain. What's happening globally, will that impact India? At the moment, all the prognosis that you can see is that India is a little bit immune to all that is happening across the world because A, we don't have energy crisis. B, the inflation in India is not that high compared to the other countries. The jump other countries was from let's say 1% to 7%. That's a big jump. India is from maybe let's say 5% to 7%, right? It's not. It is high, of course, it is high, but it's not dramatically high like other countries. The interest rate, of course, are going up across the world and in India as well. I mean, we've seen the increases happening over the last couple of months, clearly. But again, we have to remember that India was always a high interest society, right? And I remember the days when it always used to be double digit.
Right.
So we're not there yet.
Right.
So I think India has got a better chance to standing tall in this crisis. I think India will sail through much better. I'm very bullish about next year. I think in spite of all these things that are happening across the world, until the whole world crashes and there's a big impact on India, I think India will be very resilient and stand alone and stand tall in this one.
Vikram Pawah, thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Pleasure.